Hi everybody, we are back with the Soul Purpose Project, and today we are interviewing Erin Acton. Erin, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be here and to be supporting the project.
Fantastic. So before we get started into the questions, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do for work right now?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a life and business coach, and I love to support career-driven moms who want it all, but instead feel like they run around with their hair on fire. So, if I can help that mom to get just even a little bit more time in her day, in her week, so she could spend that time watching her kids learn and grow, or, to get closer to her version of balance so that she can actually have a bit more time and energy to foster a really meaningful and fulfilling career, then hey, I feel like I'm doing a really great job.
Fantastic. So what comes to your mind, or how would you define the words soul purpose? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
Soul purpose. Well, I think what that means to me is the purpose that is, like, especially with the word soul, I think it's what is kind of inside of us and what we can share with the rest of the world. And I think when it comes to like soul purpose, it's almost like it's a very integral part of ourselves and what we have inside of us to give to the rest of the world.
Beautiful. So do you know what your purpose is?
Yeah, absolutely. I spent a number of years trying to figure this out, like what is my life purpose? And my purpose in life is to help, in short, it's to help other people find theirs. And I know that even though, like, as a life coach, I'm helping them find time, but when I do that, what they're then able to do is actually spend the time where they want to spend it most, and in so doing, really fulfill their own life purpose, or even get a little bit closer to doing that. And actually, sometimes the people that are coming to me, they're like, you know what, my job is crap. I want life purpose, so I'm able to do it directly. But really, my purpose, because for the most part, it's, people want help with stuff. But my part really is to find them, to help them address that stuff so they get closer to finding their life purpose.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, Erin, do you think that everybody has a soul purpose?
Absolutely. I don't think that everyone is aware of it, and I don't think everyone really embraces it sometimes, because I think that, well, particularly because this is kind of like my sphere. This is where I spend a lot of time. It feels like that a lot of the people that I talk to, that I work with, feel like they just don't have time for that. They need to, pay the bills, get the mortgage done, make sure they're raising really great, productive kids. And so for them, their purpose really is focused on raising really productive kids. So, like, their purpose is that, it's stability, it's security. Now when it comes to like their soul purpose, what it is, maybe their greatest measure and impact on the world, I think that comes along a little bit later. And so, I think we all either, we're at various stages of finding our soul purpose throughout various stages of our life. And also, I think we're at various stages of having those purposes, and I think it can shift and adjust over time.
Absolutely. Erin, what was your process around getting clear on what your soul purpose was? Can you give us a little bit of insider scoop on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, it was a lot of navel gazing. It was really trying to find out, well, who am I? Like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the things that are unique to me? Well, I have lots of similarities with lots of other people and, all of that good stuff. What are really the things that make me unique? And are the things that I can really have the greatest impact on the world? So it was a long time of really trying to discover myself. And I blogged about it for a little while, so it was like processing that internal discovery. It was actually doing interviews with other women to find out, well, how are they, what is their purpose? What advice do they have for someone looking for purpose? And really just using that insight to broaden my scope of thinking around purpose, around what maybe areas I might want to look into. And I think also really, I think ultimately it was just learning more about myself. And just really, I think just working through it, journaling, asking myself like tough questions, all of that kind of stuff. And I mean, I still continue to work to find out who exactly I am, as I think we all do. So we all become kind of, either we adjust or grow or become more of ourselves over time. And I think that the more in touch I am with myself, the more I'm able to give to others. So that's a big part of my journey too, just making sure that I can be as much of myself so I know when I'm in a conversation I can get myself out of it and really focus on the other person. I hope that makes sense there.
Certainly, absolutely. In terms of living your purpose, would you agree that you are? And if so, how do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I really believe that I'm fully living my purpose every day. I mean, I wouldn't say 100% of my day is focused on living my purpose because, well, there's bookkeeping to be done, you know, like there's those sorts of like the paperwork of life that builds up.
Yeah.
However, in like the thrust where I'm concentrating my energies, absolutely living my purpose.
So how do you know that you're in it?
It's just, yeah, I think it's just a feeling, you know. It's a feeling of fulfillment. It's a feeling of, I think for me, a bit of accomplishment as well, being able to see big changes happening in the people that I work with. And so that's my purpose, right? Really helping others to find theirs and have those big shifts. And so, yeah, it's just that feeling and, yeah, fulfillment and I think accomplishment in there a little bit, for me anyway.
Great. So there's a lot of talk about sort of passion and money. So do you think that we have to choose between money and passion, or money and our purpose, rather?
I think it depends on your station in life. So if you're in a situation where you're not able to make ends meet, well then, yeah, money is I would say it's your purpose, right? You have to take care of those things like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're not able to really eat and really make sure that you're feeding your body and the people that depend on you, I don't know that you could really have this really high level, what is my purpose kind of conversation, because you just need to meet those needs. But I think if you are, of course, meeting those base level needs, absolutely, passion is purpose in some ways. And when you're fulfilling your purpose, really there's a lot of passion there. So I think they're really kind of interconnected and self-fulfilling, like they each contribute to the other.
So do you think it's possible to sort of like to make money doing what you feel your purpose is? Or do we have to choose, like, purpose is sort of a higher thing that isn't attached to money? Or what are your thoughts around that?
I absolutely think if it's your purpose, then you're going after it with you know, your soul, your heart and soul that's going into it. And so yes, absolutely, you can be fulfilling your purpose. And I don't know that it's really a choice. I think if someone's thinking that it is a choice, maybe they're looking at it the wrong way, or maybe they haven't asked themselves the question about how can I make this the way that I make money, you know, to find the passion being that, you know, it's kind of a conversation I think we hear a lot from artists, artistic folks, who really, you know, the storyline is that you can't make money creating art, when we see lots of examples of that all the time. So I think as long as you're just really, really truly going after it with your heart and soul and making everything work, it does work out. It becomes your passion and your purpose. And I think you are able to make money. It's a long-winded answer to answer that, but yeah, I think they're not exclusive.
No, that's a really, really interesting practical way to look at it. Like, well, have you thought about how you can generate money? It seems to be a lot of conversation around sort of spirituality and your purpose have to be exclusive from money, or a lot of money guilt around that sort of thing. So it's a really sort of interesting topic. Thank you so much for your opinion on that. It's great.
You're welcome. Well, I was just going to say too, like, who is it to say that you shouldn't be able to make money based on your sole passion? I mean, who is it that's telling you that you can't do that? You know, it seems like a judgment thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either, you know, external or internal. But as a coach, I invite you to question that. You know, if that's a question that you're something that you're telling yourself, that's a belief. Yeah. I invite you to really take a moment, maybe journal about it, maybe do a piece of artwork about it and see what comes out. Like, yeah.
So, Erin, what's a decision or action that you made in the past to get you on the course that you're on today that you would make again, if you don't mind sharing?
That I would make again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that it was the big shift that I made was really finding out, okay, I think that my purpose is in a different line of work than what I'm currently in. And that was a big decision to make. It was a decision that it was weighty, you know, involved discussions with my spouse and all of that kind of stuff. But I did end up leaving my current place of work or my former place of work, then current, to seek out my purpose and to go into schooling to follow a new path, which was in alignment with my purpose. And the change that I saw in myself, the change in the person that I was able to become for my daughter and for my husband were huge. And so I've just got so much more, what's the word? I think it's satisfaction with the life that I have now versus the life that I had before. So I would definitely make that move again. I don't recommend it, you know, for anyone because that's my choice and that's something that I decided and made a decision together with my families, and it's not the right move for everyone. And at the same time, it was the right choice for me.
Gotcha. So that actually brings me to my next question about, did you feel encouraged or discouraged by your personal community in finding your purpose?
I think encouraged. Yeah, I don't think I felt any discouragement. I think I had a lot of support. Just thinking back about that. I mean, I think, as always, you know, sharing that with my mom, there was some fear, absolutely. Like, I could tell there was some fear, you know, her concern for me and my welfare and all of that kind of stuff. But always through a supportive way, and so I think that might have been the only place where I wouldn't have felt that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what's been hard? What are some challenges you've encountered into transitioning into what you're doing now? And more importantly, how did you deal with them?
Yes, absolutely. This is something I felt in a couple of different points in my life where you build up a lot of, say, contacts or credibility or knowledge in one area of your life. And then when you change track, as I did, you are starting kind of at ground zero again because you don't have the knowledge. I didn't have any of the contacts, you know, or the credibility in the new sphere that I went into, which was life coaching. Whereas I came from a world where I was leading the communications for a $50 million company, you know, well respected, well regarded by my peers, you know, seeming to be, you know, climbing the corporate ladder. Know lots of people in that industry, really great at making connections, to going to this whole new world where I've got to, you know, I think in some ways really feel like I've got to show my credibility again and show my knowledge and all that kind of stuff that you learn. And that's just something that I've had to do at various times throughout my career because I was a journalist before that, and so you'd move from community to community. And every time you move to a community, you have to reestablish your credibility. So that I think it's just kind of something that we'll have to continue to do throughout our lives, especially if we make any sort of pivots along the way. And that has, for me, has been a challenge. But I think one I've had before, and a few times before.
So how did you overcome those challenges? Was it just straight perseverance?
Well, sure. I think that's a good word for it. Though I haven't really felt like I've needed perseverance really in this one. And I think maybe it's because I've had these past experiences before. I know I've really struggled with that in the past. And so it was, okay, here's what I'm experiencing again. Okay, well, I just know it's going to take time. So it's just a matter of, okay, showing up every day, hey, da-da-da, you know, like just doing the thing step by step every day, being consistent with it, and just knowing that. So that's how I've gotten over that.
That's fantastic. So you touched on this a little bit, but I want to get some more details, some more dirt. What's different about who you are now that you're living your purpose versus who you were when you weren't?
Well, I think it's that sense of satisfaction. I think it's actually this is a word that's becoming more and more important to me. I feel like I'm living with more integrity. I hope that makes sense, like more internal integrity. Like I feel like I'm more aligned internally, or I'm not having to act so much. Whereas before I was really working to make things work. Whereas now things are a lot easier. It seemed like just more flow to everything. So I think that's how I'm a different person. And yeah, I don't have to try so hard. Let's put it that way.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
So then how has your impact on the world changed? What now that you're
yeah.
on purpose versus when you weren't?
Yeah. Well, I think for me it's more tangible. And I like to joke about this because before in the communications in the marketing world, sometimes you can draw really clear results from the things that you do, whereas most of the time you can't. Maybe you'll put an email out, but how do you know if that's actually increased sales for, say, the company or cause people to do a certain action that you want them to do? Whereas with coaching, I can make an immediate impact for someone in a very short period of time, and I can really, I don't know, like I can just see the results of the inputs that I'm putting in, like so I can see the results of my labors a lot more, and I think that's a big part of it, and so I can see the impact that I'm having on the world. I liked to do gardening before because I'd be able to weed and go, oh, look at this great progress that I've made. Whereas now, like now I don't really garden so much, so I've got some terrible flower beds. But like I'm really able to see the impact that I can have in that short time period that I see with people, and I get to hear about the impacts that they're then able to make as a result of those actions and the insights that they've learned from that time. So I guess for me, the short answer that I've given in a really long way is that it's so much more tangible for me now than it was before.
Oh, great. Now, can you explain your perspective on the relationship between living in your soul's purpose and work? Can those be separate?
I don't know. I think that I think that I don't know. I think if you really want to feel really meaningful and fulfilled, I would say, ugh, if you're not feeling fulfilled at work, you're spending 8 hours a day on average, 8 hours of your life every single day working. And if you don't feel like you are contributing your core purpose or being able to really give of yourself through your core purpose in those 8 hours, oh, what a shame is my initial reaction. And so if I could like encourage any person to find their purpose through the work that they do, doesn't matter what you do. Like it could be me doing communications, but really looking for what is the impact that I'm having on the world, all of those sorts of things, like finding meaning through that, which I was able to do for a while. But so start there, and then, so I don't know if I'm really answering your question because I think sure it can, maybe as a hobby, but if you're going to be spending those 8 hours every day in a job, oh gosh, wouldn't you really want that to be something that really lights you up and has a big impact on the world and on others?
Absolutely. That brings me to my final question, Erin. What advice or words of wisdom would you give anyone watching this video that's searching to find their own purpose?
Yeah. I would say, I think, take as much time as you need doing it, and at the same time know that the world can really benefit from you standing in your purpose and your power that really comes from living from your purpose. So the sooner that you're able to find that out, the better. And just keep going, keep finding, keep rooting and digging through yourself to find that purpose. And before you know it, things will start to click for you, and things will start to happen. So take as much time as you need and make sure you get there quickly so that you can really start giving to the world.
Beautiful. Erin, if anybody wanted to contact you after watching this video, how would they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Through my website, erinacton.com, or through my email, erin@erinacton.com, or, I mean, they can call me. Got my number, 250-813-1761.
Fantastic.
Whatever works.
That's so wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Erin. Appreciate it again.
You're welcome. Thanks so much.